Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 326. Good to assume you're there, because, can't see you. So let's talk about Young Jedi Adventures. Young Jedi Adventures are the adventures of Jedi who are young. Seems to be a web series. I thought it was going to be like a Disney XD TV show, but there's 3 episodes and they're on Disney Kids YouTube channel. So I guess it's a web series now. Disney's gotten into the anime acquisition game. Have they? No? Okay. What did they get? So I watched the first episode of Young Jedi Adventures because mainly the promo art for the show shows young Jedi, posing with lightsabers. And I thought, that looks particularly dangerous for small children, which is something that was in my mind during, I think, Attack of the Clones is when we see the younglings standing in a room, like 12 of them, standing like arm's distance apart, just kind of waving their lightsabers around. I'm sure they're training sabers, and they probably zap you with the force of licking a 12-volt or a 5-volt battery or something like that. But I don't know. Seems like maybe the laser sword isn't something you should give to small children, but what do I know? So I watched the first episode of Young Jedi Adventures, which is like 3 minutes. And our titular young Jedi are Child 1, Child 2, and I guess it's an Ewok, but it's purple. It didn't say yub yub or anything, but it does speak in gibberish, and it's cute, and I'm sure it will sell plushies. So, the premise is, hey, we're young Jedi. Let's have an adventure and turn on this training droid, which is a floating droid that has 4 arms, a lightsaber in each. And one of them says, I don't know, that's a training droid for the older Jedi. Oh, I'm sure we can handle it if we work together. So they turn it on, and they jump around and swing their lightsabers at it, and then they're like, oh no, we've bitten off more than we can chew, and they end up destroying part of the Jedi Temple. And their other friend, there's a 4th friend here, also young, but not a Jedi, apparently. But, despite being 8 years old, she has her own spaceship. Someone gave her a spaceship and let her drive it, I assume, unless she stole it. So not only are we allowing the 8-year-olds to have the deadly laser swords, we also let them drive spaceships. That's fine. It's fine. I'm sure it's fine. So, she crashes the party and helps them turn off the droid. You think they'd have, voice commands, like, Siri droid, stop trying to murder the children. Maybe. Now, the show's not aimed for me. It's aimed at very young children, which is fine. To be fair, it's a perfectly serviceable show. It doesn't come off as low-effort garbage like a lot of for very young children's entertainment can. The design, the aesthetic and character design is simple, but approachable and cute. It's something that kids could probably draw fan art of and get, and they're very toyetic. The dialogue is very smack you in the face obvious. We can do it if we work together, because we're a team. And it's like, ugh. But, for small children, it's fine. The action is... The animation is good. the posing, the posing is solid. It looks very Jedi-ish. So they look really good standing there posing with their lightsabers, but as soon as they get into a fight, it comes off very I don't know if that's on purpose or not, but it looks really, really silly. The animation, again, is fine. It's the action choreography, which is really lame. But what I really wanted to communicate here is this is not the show that I want. Yes, Young Jedi Adventures is not speaking to me. What do I want out of this show? I kind of want the Happy Tree Friends version, where what would happen if you gave 8-year-olds lightsabers and spaceships? Well, exactly what you think would happen. They'd chop off their hands and crash into stuff. So I want a little 3-minute shorts of the young Jedi horribly maiming and killing themselves for 3 minutes per episode. That's what I want. I'd watch that. So, but that's not what the show is, and it must, of course, be judged on its own merits. And on its own merits, it's fine. It's a show for small children. It's fine. But I did want them little Jedi ragamuffins to die horribly. Chicago, hello. A few things they poach Bleach. They've got Bleach apparently. Disney does. Summertime render. They got Tengoku Daimakyo. I don't know that one. Chicago says, "Wait, what are you talking about? 8-year-old with a lightsaber and starship?" Yeah, there's a new web show on Disney Kids YouTube channel called Young Jedi Adventures, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's younglings and their adventures. There's 3 kids, 2 humans and an Ewok, I think. And there's a 4th kid who has a spaceship. So the 3 kids have lightsabers and the other one has a spaceship, which seems really unsafe for 8-year-olds. Die, these children will, says Master Yoda. Oh, that's not happening. Yeah, well, that's a shame. I was saying I want the Happy Tree Friends version of this, where every episode they just maim themselves and die horribly. Constantly chopping off their hands in each other's faces with their lightsabers, and the other one who has a spaceship, can't reach the pedals. It just keeps crashing it into things. Yeah, it's like, maybe we shouldn't give lightsabers and spaceships to 8-year-olds. We might have thought that through a bit more thoroughly. Alright. So it is a sad, sad day, for the Nintendo Wii U and 3DS eShops are now dead. They were turned off, so you can't buy anything anymore. Which means that at no point in the last 10 years, or however long it's been, not once did Fatal Frame Maiden of Black ever go on sale. Not once. Because I checked. I kept checking every once in a while for 9 years or however long it's been. The game never dropped in price, not once. It was $50 until the day the Wii U eShop died. Nintendo said, we want $50 for this game. We would rather have $0 than have anything less than 50. Okay. So Nintendo got what it wanted. $0. I played Fatal Frame, Black Curse of the Maiden of Blackwater, back when it released. It was sold rather digital only. A physical edition was not released here for the Wii U. A port of the game was released to Switch and PlayStation, Xbox 2 or 3 years ago. But the Wii U version, and was designed specifically for the Wii U, so it was, the gimmick of the game is, you use the screen on the remote, or not the remote, the gamepad as your camera to take pictures of ghosts, right? So it was sold as a free demo, and the rest of the game was a paid download, like DLC. So you bought the demo, and then you downloaded it, you paid for the rest of the game. I thought it was neat. I didn't think it was $50 neat. I thought it was like, $30 neat. I'd have paid $30 for it. But again, the game never dropped in price. It never went on sale. Not even during, like, Halloween sales. The game never dropped in price. So I never bought it. Oh well. Makes me sad. I really would have liked... I kind of enjoyed the demo. I would have enjoyed trying out the rest of the game, but Nintendo had no interest in dropping the price. So, oh well. I mean, I could always buy it for the Switch or the PS4 or something like that, but I don't know. It's kind of like playing Zombie U on the PlayStation 3. You can, but you miss out on some of the artistic intention of the game. It's playable. You can play it, but you know, it loses a little something, methinks. Matthew points out, yes, E3 is dead, at least for this year. I haven't... ESA, so far as I've seen, hasn't said we won't try again in 2024, but yeah, E3 is gone for this year, and nobody cares. Well, I mean, a lot of people in the LA area, like carpenters, electricians, event organizers, models, all those people who, you know, used to rely on E3 as a nice source of income are probably pretty disappointed, and feel for them. But I think most fans are like, Nintendo hasn't done it in nearly a decade. Sony and Microsoft aren't going to do it. Ubisoft wasn't going to do it. So ESA wisely said, yeah, no one's going to be there. So they say they'll try again, but it's dead. Yeah, it's dead. There's really no reason to do it. Chicago says, Happy Tree Friends Jedi would be hilarious. I hadn't thought about them in ages. Yeah, I kind of miss Happy Tree Friends. It's on the shelf back there somewhere, the DVDs. Chicago says, I was hoping for massive eShop sale. No. Capcom and Way Forward did some sales, but that's it. I was hoping Fatal Frame, the Etran Odyssey games I missed, and a few smaller games. Yeah, it would be nice, right? But no. Snake says, I'm sad that E3 is gone. Where will I go to make myself angry? There you go. E3 was already zombie. Yeah, E3, even before the pandemic, E3 had been limping along. But, I mean, it did not evolve with the times, unfortunately. And I was at E3 as their 2006 when they first introduced the Wii. Pretty good year to go. If you were going to hit one E3, the one that the Wii was introed, it's a pretty good one. So speaking of Nintendo debuted some The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom footage this week. Eiji Aonuma, who was definitely playing that, was definitely You see, when Masahiro Sakurai says, it's like demoing Smash Brothers, I actually believe he's playing. I don't believe Eiji Aonuma is actually playing the game, but whatever. So, what do I think of Breath of the Wild 2? I think it looks neat. Not $70 neat, but neat. No idea if it's going to fix any of the issues that I had with the game. I would think probably not most of them, because I seem to be really one of the few who had those issues with the game. But we did learn that it does appear that Hyrule is the Hyrule from Breath of the Wild. It's pretty much exactly the same area. Looks like the set is dressed a little bit differently. They are at the footage took place near the stables by the what are they called? Dueling Peaks. It's a mountain with a big break in the center of it. It's exactly the someone went through and cleaned up all the dead guardians, but other than that, it's exactly the same. It looks like they're staging some building or something. There looks to be like some construction materials laying around, like they're gonna start building a new town, and that could be really interesting because one of the major things they showed off is, hey, look, you have the ability to grab items and bind them to other things, so you could just bind a bunch of logs together to make a raft. Neat. So maybe you'll use that to help build towns and stuff. Okay. But you know what people are going to do? They're going to make flying phalluses and crash them straight into Zelda's window. Because of course we are. Yep. I'm going to take that log and those two boulders and pop them together, put the little engines on, or maybe not even boulders, just those big round engines, and put them on either side of a tree log and fly it through the air. Because that's what we're all gonna do. Well, I mean, not initially, because again, I ain't paying $70 for this. I am very interested to see how. Maybe the idea is you're not really supposed to explore Hyrule because it's been explored. You know, the idea is, you know, stuff in the, you know, the floating islands, the sky islands, whatever they're called. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays. The idea of you know, combining things, like you can combine your arrows with Keese eyeballs to make them homing arrows, and you combine them with chew jellies to give them elemental effects like freeze, or I would assume fire and electricity. They showed off combining a leaf with an arrow, but they didn't show what it did, so who knows? So you can so that'll probably be fun to experiment with. I look forward to when it's not $70. Let's see. Matthew, my big game for April is going to be Battle Network Collection. Huh? Okay. I'll admit it. I get a little salty every time Capcom is like, 10 games! No, it's 6. It's 6. Battle Network 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You don't get to count Battle Network 6A and 6B and 5A and 5B. Whatever. How it's. For those who don't know, Mega Man Battle Network does the same thing that the Pokemon games do with Pokemon Gold, Silver, Red, Blue, White, Black, X, Y. You know, the later Battle Network games did exactly the same thing. You know, Battle Network Team Chod and Battle Network Team other guy. I don't remember the names, but yeah, I hate that. Are there differences? Yes, but they're slight. It's the same areas. There are some slight dialogue and character differences. Otherwise, they are exactly the same game. There are some unique battle chips. Is that what it's called in that game? Battle chips to each version, so you can try and trade them. But yeah, I hate that. They're interesting games, though. So, let's see. Snake says every E3 they'd bring a real car onto the stage. Why? Nobody. Yeah, Microsoft would do. It's like, hey, we've got Forza or Gran Turismo. I think that's Sony. And like, yeah, and we got a car. Look at the car. It's like, can we drive the car? No. Can we sit in the car? No. Why is it here? don't know. I've never understood that either. It's like, I mean, I assume a model of the car is in the game, but I mean, that would be like, I don't know, having a big life-size statue of Kratos on stage for, God of War Ragnarok, or whatever. It's like, okay, why? Although a Kratos statue would probably be a lot less expensive than the shipping and insurance and stuff for that car. So $70 isn't worth a meat club. Oh, you want to combine meat to a stick and start beating bokoblins with them? Yes, $70. I'm not paying $70. I'm not paying $60. I'll pay $50. I'll pay $50. You can charge as much as you want. I might even agree it's worth it. I'm just not paying it. I will not pay. I still have not purchased Like a Dragon Ishin or Resident Evil Remake, because I'm not paying $60 for a video game. $50. That's where I draw the line. It's arbitrary, I suppose. No, I don't suppose it is. It's arbitrary. That's just where I draw the line. I'm not paying more than that. But my frugal, some might say cheap-ass game buying habits is one of the reasons I have a big backlog of unplayed games. Because I don't... because I, make my monies go further, because I don't pay full price for video games. Fish Arrow. There you go. Yeah, I'm not sure what it's going to do if you put meat or fish or chicken legs or whatever on the end of an arrow and fire it at something. If it's just going to be like, what the hell was that? Or if it could be used as a lure, or who knows. I mean, it might be like Dead Rising, where you can pick up most things in stores in the game and chuck them at zombies, but a lot of things are just completely useless. Chainsaw works great. CD cases, thump, 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 it just bounces off. It doesn't do anything, but you can do it, and it's funny. So, Dueling Peaks, okay, yeah, that's what it was called. Online play was a nice surprise for Battle Network Collection. Oh, okay. Glad you don't have to find someone else with a physical copy. You can just go online and do stuff. Chicago says Link will get bragging rights of saying he beat an enemy with his meat. There you go. Now I will fly this phallus right into Hyrule Castle. But no, Tears of the Kingdom looks there's some interesting new stuff. I look forward to exploring the Sky Islands. Looks fun to play around with. Still not paying $70 for it. Snake says Dead Rising was fun. Decking a zombie with a bench was never not boring. Shame how the later game turned out. Just later games. Yeah, I only played the first one. Now, Dead Rising, I would nominate. A lot of people complain about Ashley as an escort character. I would nominate Dead Rising as having the worst escort missions. Like literally the worst in any games ever. That game was painful with escort missions. Oh, man. The safe room in that game was... you had to go into a warehouse and then ride an elevator up to a roof. And then you had to, climb on top of a 2-foot, 3-foot... like a waist-high ledge to get to the door that led to the safe room. Now, getting people to follow you and not run and hug the zombies was a challenge in and of itself. But you finally get the person or persons you've been escorting back to the safe room, and the final indignity of trying desperately to get these assholes up this, waist-high ledge so that they can go through the door, which is right there! Oh, man. That was amazingly frustrating. Still a fun game. I overall liked Dead Rising, but good God, with the escorts. Their pathing was some of the worst I have ever seen, and they have absolutely no survival instinct. It's like they can be hurt and unarmed, and they will slap a zombie. Don't think they won't. It's like, stop it. The ones that worked okay is if any of them had, turned an ankle and you had to carry them, because at least you didn't have to worry about them running off into the crowd of zombies. Snake says, I gave a survivor a gun on Dead Rising 1, and he shot the female survivor point blank, killing her, then ran into zombies. Oh, God. I don't think I ever saw the survivors shoot each other, but yeah. Yeah. Cafe Fox says, I'll play Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom if I find it at a yard sale for like $5. I don't really care. Oh, I'll pay more than $5 for it, but and I'd love to buy it new. You know, I like to support developers and such when they're not known to be horrible, but by degrees. But yeah, I'm just not gonna pay $70. I mean, even if I were to pay $70 for a game, it's, for me at this point, still a hard sale. I'm like, 70? I mean, isn't this just like the last game but with some new content sprinkled in? I mean, it's the same Hyrule. You didn't build anything new. All the Sky Islands are new, of course, but all of Hyrule has been a bit reset dressed. We don't know. We've only seen like one small area, but you know, maybe all the towns are very, very different. Don't know. But man, if Hyrule is essentially just the same and all that's new is the floating islands, that's like, this is $70. Come on. So, all right. I haven't had great luck with video games of late. The Sunday stream games are wonderful. I'm really enjoying those. I'm having a lot of fun with the Trails games, and we're playing also Trauma Team, which we'll be continuing with tomorrow. These are wonderful games. They're a ton of fun. I love playing them. I'm excited to play more of them. They're games I think about playing during the week when I'm not playing them. And I've been, for the past most of this year, been looking for another game like that. I was playing Tales of Berseria, and I quite liked it, but I was feeling a little bit of burnout on the game, so I'm like, I need to take a break. I should play something a little, something to cleanse the palate. Pardon me. So I tried AI the Somnium Files. And if you listen to the weekly podcast, you know that I wasn't particularly enamored of that game. It's not bad. There's a lot I like about it. There's just not a lot of game there. I found it actually rather dull. You know, I liked the characters, I liked the story, I liked the visual aesthetic, but there just wasn't enough gameplay for me to really be captivating. And I tried AI Somnium Files 2 just to see if it did anything different, and it does not appear to do so. So I only played like the first couple hours of that. So yeah, I'll have to come back to that one later. Played a couple demos last week before, whenever it was. Played Sea of Stars, which I thought was really interesting, and might want to check out the full game when it comes out in the summer. Cereza and the Bayonetta Origins game I thought was pretty cool, so I'll probably pick that up. That came out a week or two ago. And the Resident Evil 4 demo was a lot of fun. Of course, those are still a bit too expensive. It's a visual novel. It is, but it's also a video game. I mean, that's kind of how it was sold. And I was expecting more actual game. I mean, I'm not mad at it for what it is. It is what it is, and it does what it does. I mean, if that's, you know, but for me personally, the reason I wasn't enjoying it the way others might have is because there's just nothing to do. There's may as well read a book. You know, it's just make a great anime. It'd make a great episodic TV series, but there's almost no gameplay. And what I found frustrating is there are moments that would accommodate gameplay quite well. It's just didn't seem to be interested in doing that. Like I think there's like maybe 8 quick time events in the entire game, which is weird because you're like, oh shoot, I put the controller down. The R2, yeah, you know. There's like a couple sequences where you're interrogating a witness and they're like, well, prove that I wasn't at the crime scene. And then you have to select the pieces of evidence, sometimes more than one, to catch them in a lie. Oh, shoot, I had to actually pay attention. That's good stuff. Unfortunately, it's only like usually 2 or 3 questions, and then it's done, and that's it. I mean, imagine if you played a Phoenix Wright game, right? And there was no actual investigation. You didn't search the crime scene and collect evidence. You just talked to people until they ran out of dialogue, and then you went to the next place. And then you get to the court, and you present 2 pieces of evidence, maybe 3, and that was it. Games wouldn't be as interesting. Imagine Professor Layton if it only had maybe 10 puzzles in it total. Cool puzzles. Still like the story. Characters are neat. Like the aesthetic. But I personally would have preferred more game in my game. But that's just not what AI the Somnium Files is, unfortunately, for me. It's a very visual novel. Oh well. I should check out the Slay the Princess demo. I get a ton of Stanley Parable vibes from it. Oh, well, I played Stanley Parable and thought it was boring and pointless. I probably played it wrong. Because, again, it's another game that has no gameplay. You start in a room, and there's a narrator who just narrates what you're doing. And you walk out of the room, and then you walk past a bunch of cubicles, and then you make it into, I guess, like your boss's office. And at this point, there's actually what could potentially be a piece of gameplay, because there's like a key-coded door behind the desk that you're trying to get through. But before you can figure out what the code is or search the room, the narrator says, Stanley knew that the password was 1234. Oh. Okay. And then you walk down another hallway and you hit a room with a bunch of monitors in it, and then you press a button and you go outside, and that's the end of the game. I don't get it. Weird game. But yeah, the Slay the Princess sounds like an interesting premise. I thought about playing the demo, and I never got around to it. It's one of those, is the game going to come out at some point? Not sure if that's an early access thing or what's going on there, but yeah, it's an interesting premise. Apparently, you're a dude, and the narrator says, hey, dude. And you go, yes, narrator? There's a lady locked in this cabin. Oh, shoot. Should I let her out? No. You should kill her. What? She's bad. That's why she's locked in the cabin, you see. So you should go. She's a princess, and you should slay her, because if she gets out of the cabin, she's going to destroy the world or something. Okay. And I guess the game is a kind of point-and-click adventure, and the idea is, do you slay the princess, or do you let her go? Do you talk to her? Do you argue with the narrator? I don't know. I haven't played the demo yet, but it's a neat concept. Knowing me, I'd just walk in and let her out. Just, it's like, okay, do you have any evidence? Okay, narrator, do you have any evidence to suggest that she is a monster or would destroy the world? No, you'll just have to trust me. No, I ain't gonna do that. So I'm just gonna walk into the cabin and let the lady locked in the basement out. Maybe that ends the world, but you've given me no reason to think that it would. Again, haven't played the demo, so that's probably how I would approach it if it was presented like that. So, is it possible to play a game wrong? I suppose it is, because I probably played Stanley Parable wrong. Whole point of Stanley Parable was to go against the narrator. I mean, there's like... I guess I could have punched in a different code in the door. Would that have mattered? I mean, I think there's like a... You can go left or right at one hallway. I guess you could go the other direction. But... I don't know. I think there's like... There's two buttons at the very end, and, you know... But I don't know why I would do anything differently than I did it. I'm like, I guess I could play the game again and just go the other direction. Maybe there's just more interesting gameplay. I have no idea. Don't know. Because I only played the game. I played Stanley Parable for a sum total of, what, 10 minutes? I just walked down a hallway, into a room, punched a code into a wall, went into another big room, hit another button, and walked outside, and that was the end of the game, apparently. It's like, would you like to play that again? I'm like, no, that was dull. Shit. Why would I want to play that again? There's a whole bunch of different paths and things you can do. I would hope so, because what I saw was just really dull. What was I talking about? Oh, so, you know, the AI, the Somnium files weren't doing it for me. So what did I play? Shoot, I'm gonna have to get my, because I had another game. Pretty sure it did. That's the wrong file. This one. No, I didn't. Okay, so I decided to play Valkyria Chronicles 4. Now, Valkyria Chronicles 1 is the first PlayStation game I ever played. Yay. Really liked it. Never played 2 or 3. I believe they were the PlayStation handheld games, so never played them. But 4 came out 4 or 5 years ago. And I bought it on sale a year or so ago, and was looking forward to playing it. I'm like, okay, I will play... Oh, no, that... Shoot, did I not have that on my list? Do I need to update my list? No More Heroes 3. So I was thinking, okay, I need a quick fix game to to cleanse the palate. No More Heroes 3. Fun, actiony, beat 'em up. I did not like No More Heroes at 3 much at all. I thought it was actually genuinely a bad game, and I feel bad for having played it. Which is a shame, because the combat mechanics were quite fun. Unfortunately, they weren't used to do anything particularly interesting. They like took the interesting bits of the game and just left them on the cutting room floor. So yeah, No More Heroes 3 was bad. Unfortunately, didn't like that. So then I'd say, okay, Valkyria Chronicles 4. And I started playing that Thursday night, I think. And if you know what's coming if you follow me on Twitter. But Valkyria Chronicles is similar to XCOM. It's one of those turn-based strategy games where it's your turn, you move all of your dudes with guns, and then the enemy moves their dudes with guns, and you try to beat the enemies and capture their bases and do whatever you do, right? It's that kind of a game. And like with XCOM, there are hit percentages. So the closer you are, the more likely you are to hit what you're shooting at. Also, depending on what class, what character, what the terrain is, all that kind of stuff, right? So you can, like in XCOM, you can stand next to something and just completely whiff. You can pull a Joshua and just miss something you're standing next to. That happens. But when I was playing the game Thursday night, I needed to get down through a choke point that had like dudes with mortars on like castle parapets, and so I needed to shoot them. My characters missed the same dude 7 times in a row. Hit on the 8th, missed the 9th, hit the 10th, missed the 11th. Wow, that's unlucky. Anna was having really obnoxiously bad accuracy issues. That was the worst it got, but I was having some really obnoxious, like my characters just kept missing stuff. So I turned it off for the night, and I started again Friday afternoon. And same problem. I put probably 5 hours of the game, but I only beat 2 missions because my characters kept missing everything. Well, not everything, but literally 80, the majority of their shots they would just completely miss. The very last thing I did in the game, I had 3 characters: a lancer, a engineer, and a scout. So the lancer has essentially what's a rocket-propelled grenade. So they're all in roughly the same area, and an enemy shock trooper runs out and stands like right in the center of all 3 of us. Good positioning, jackass. Turned out that was the safest place he could possibly be. Now, it takes 4 hits to put the, well, 1 hit from the rocket-propelled grenade, 4 hits from the bullets. So I shot at him with my lancer. Now, again, we're surrounding this guy. We're standing like 15 feet away. Like, he's as far as that back wall is to me, right? So I stand in nearly point blank. I point my rocket-propelled grenade at him. I fire, and it just sails past his head. Okay, that happens sometimes. It's okay. So my engineer takes a turn. Now, my engineer and my scout, they both have a rifle, and they get 5 shots apiece. So I only need to hit him 4 times. And I've got 2 characters, both who have 5 shots. So that's 10. I just need to hit 40% of the shots. Both characters missed all 5 shots. Bam, 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 bam. Miss, 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 miss. So I shut the game off in a huff. Later that evening, I thought, you know, I just had a really obnoxiously bad run of luck. So let's, I like the game, though. It's a fun game, but if your characters just keep missing, you're not going to get anywhere. You know, you do have to eventually hit the bad guy, otherwise you're not progressing in the game. So I turned it on later that night, and that, my dear viewers, is when I discovered that Valkyria Chronicles does not autosave. Or, well, Valkyria Chronicles 4 does. I don't remember about the first game. So, yeah. The minimal progress I'd made, I had lost, because I never manually saved the game. I had just kind of, you know, assumed it was auto-saving. Bad assumption. It does not do that. So, yeah. I mean, that's kind of like playing Dungeons and Dragons and just consistently rolling 1s. You know, rolling a 1 is part of the game. It can be funny, you know, because bad stuff happens. But if you're playing a campaign and you just roll all 1s, it's frustrating and no fun. And I don't blame the game. I don't think the game is balanced like that. I didn't have that experience with the first game. I've never heard of anybody having that experience, but man, even Joshua Bright would be embarrassed by these people's performance. I don't know what the I just obnoxiously horrible luck, I guess, but I can't play the game if the characters don't hit anything. And I lost what progress I had made anyway. And Valkyria Chronicles is one of those games that's very verbose in its cutscenes. It would almost be considered a visual novel, except there's actually a game there to play, and it's very fun. But it does get pretty verbose in its cutscenes. You might be sitting there for like 45 minutes between missions going through the character, and most of it is just character portraits talking to each other. There are a few animated cutscenes, but most of it is just character portraits, minimally animated. And that can't, even if you do like the characters and you are invested in the story, that can get a bit tedious. So, let's see. Snake says, Valkyria Chronicles is also heavily reliant on RNG, and it feels worse than XCOM at times. Well, my experience with 4 was... Now, I mean, I've seen it happen in XCOM where you're behind... You sneak up behind an enemy. You're 1 tile away. And you're behind them. They don't see you. And you let loose a full clip, and somehow you miss them. Which should be impossible. Honestly, I think in XCOM, if you're 1 tile away, that should be 100% to hit. Like, you can't possibly miss at this range, but that's neither here nor there. Snake says, the enemy throws grenades, crits my unit, I do the same, and the enemy barely takes damage. Did I break a mirror? Did I cross a black cat? Yeah. It's an SRPG, which tend to have a lot of talking. I'm not sure what an SRPG is, but yeah, it's a lot of RPGs can be very wordy. Anything worth saying is worth taking 40 minutes to say and restating over and over. Most RPGs can be very wordy. But, so you try and keep up the interest in, interesting characters, fascinating story, but you also try to dress it up with the presentation. Even in something where it's like Trails in the Sky, where it's the 2D sprites. These little guys just jump and bounce all over the screen. It makes it visually interesting. It's depicted combat and high school plays, and it's made it all really interesting with very limited animation. So it's not easy, but it can be done. But no, I'm pretty sure that Sega or whoever the developer was, I'm pretty sure that my experience with Valkyria Chronicles 4 is not the intended experience for anyone who ever plays the game. No one should ever miss 80% of the shots taken. Because you literally cannot complete the game if your characters are that inaccurate. You'll run it because you have to complete all the missions within a certain number of turns. You're under a time limit. I mean, you may not die, but you're not going to succeed if you keep missing all the shots. And I just had some... I should look into the Dishwasher series. I don't know what that is. The Dishwasher series? Is it a video game? Is it an anime? What? Dishwasher Dead Samurai? How have I never heard of that? The Dishwasher, Dead Samurai. It looks like an Xbox arcade game. Okay. Interesting. Huh. Somehow I'd... indie game, so I guess not too surprising I'd never heard of it, but yeah. Never heard that name before. So, so I was like, okay, well, I lost what little progress I made in Valkyria Chronicles, so I'm gonna have to hang this up. I'm not having any fun. I can't play the game if my characters just keep missing all their shots. At some point, you know, it's funny at first, but then you just can't play the game. It's just no fun. So, I said, okay, and I decided to start playing God of War, the 2018 version, which I bought for $10-15 at some point, and it's been sitting on my shelf for a couple of years. So I pulled that off the shelf, started up God of War, and I've never played any of the original series games. I think I played like the demo, or maybe it was just the first level of the first game on the PlayStation 2, the one that's on the ship and you fight a Hydra. I think I played that portion. But God of War 2018 is interesting. I've put maybe 8 to 10 hours in it so far. Maybe not that much. I don't know. I've put some hours into it, and it's okay. It's fine. It reminds me a lot, honestly, of Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, particularly in its combat. It's got a very similar flow with you know, attack, dodge, and counter. Combat's fine. It's okay. It's not like, ooh, this is a lot of fun. It's just kind of there. Light attack, heavy attack, dodge and parry. It works perfectly fine. It's fine. I'll tell you the things I do like about the game. I like the fact that at least at this point, the plot of the game is we're taking mom just died. We cremated her, and we're taking her ashes to the top of yonder mountain to spread them, because that was her last wish. That's the plot of the game. There's no big monster about to split the earth in half. There's no one got kidnapped. No, there's no armies invading our land. There's no blight befalling the wilderness that needs to be undone. No, just dad and son going on a nature hike to spread mom's ashes. It's literally the plot of the game, at least so far. And yeah, it's very low stakes, and you know, I kind of dig that. Not that interesting things haven't happened. Some scrawny dude showed up at our door to pick a fight. I'm sure that will become important later. We shot a mystical boar and pissed off some lady who was friends with the boar, who also recognizes our godly stature, and that's probably going to become important. It's probably, you know, Atreyu, no, not Atreyu, Atreus, something like that, the boy. He's like, wow, Dad, I can't help but notice that on our nature hike to the top of yonder mountain, everything is trying to kill us. That's not normal. And Kratos said, boy. Which is like his sum total dialogue. Boy. But, I mean, maybe there will be a world-ending phenomenon that we have to punch in the face by the game's end, but so far, we're just walking up a mountain to spread mom's ashes, and we got close to the mountain, and there was like this black fog that we couldn't get around for some reason. It's just right here. We could go that way or that way. Big ass mountain, plenty of ways to approach it, but no. Apparently, we have to Go get the light from a completely different realm to banish the smoke in this small mountain path. Okay, sure. So we get on the Bifrost and we go to Anaheim, whatever the name of the new realm is, and there's a bunch of elves there, and they really don't like us, and they try to kill us, which is nothing new because everything tries to kill us. I guess Kratos just has one of those faces. He's like Kiryu Kazuma. Everyone wants to punch him. Um, it's it's weird because the game starts you. There's actually, you can upgrade and you can find new armor pieces and stuff to put on that betters your stats. But here's the weird thing. You start the game wearing what you're wearing, but you also start the game with a change of clothes, which is significantly better than what you start out wearing. But the game doesn't tell you that. Only people who go playing around in menus like I do would notice that. And so far, nothing I have found has been better than my starting gear. Not a single damn thing. Kind of reminds me of Xenoblade Chronicles, where doing side quests was pointless because they always rewarded you with gear, which was worse than what you already had. Unless you didn't do any shopping at the last town. So, let's see. So, God of War is fine. Unfortunately, it's not. It hasn't really grabbed me. It's not a game that's like really got its hooks into me. I'm not thinking about the game, playing the game when I'm not playing the game. You know. So the search, I'll probably. Unless it gets really boring or something. I have no idea how long the game is. But there's 9 realms, so it could be pretty lengthy if I'm only at realm number 2. Also, it seems to be structured in a way where you can backtrack and go back to earlier places and find any crap on the floor that you didn't pick up the first time. So the game really hasn't quite opened up that yet. We did get a mystical ball thing that allows us to warp back to the center area, and I've seen a couple of the places where you could set up a door, but I'd have to actually literally walk all the way back, and I don't see any need to do that. And I haven't seen any more yet, so nice music. Full orchestral and chorus, so that's pretty neat. Yeah, God of War. It's totally fine. Let's see. Should play the Grandia games, says Chaos. 1 and 2 are available on the eShop and Steam. 3 is presently only available PS2 physical and PS3 digital. Cafe Fox says, there isn't. God's just getting in your way. When you kill them, it causes you more heartache during your travel. Both games are great. Goes on to say, yes, it's one of those games where you get different armor sets that's meant for different things, but really if you just find one good set, you don't ever need to change it. It's basically Zelda. I don't feel it's basically Zelda, but I mean, your mileage may vary. I also find it kind of weird that the way it's paced, you earn very, 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 very little experience points until you get to about where I got in the game. So there's a skill tree menu, but you don't have enough experience to unlock it, to unlock much of anything until 8 hours into the game. Well, probably quicker than that. I mean, because I play slow, because I explore. I like finding all the doodads and stuff. I love that Kratos punches through treasure chests instead of bothering to open the lid. That's fun. you end up another thing that's just kind of oddly paced is you get money, a lot of money. You don't get a lot of experience that you could use to unlock some stuff in the menus, but you do get a ton of money and nothing to spend it on. Not a single damn thing until you about 8 hours into the game, or however long it takes you to get there, where you get to the dwarf guy who has a shop. And then you can spend it on armor sets that aren't any better than what you already have. So it's kind of weird. I don't feel they plotted that one out very well. It's like, here's all this stuff you can do, but there's no point in doing it. We're giving you all this stuff. Cool, what do I do with it? Well, you can't do anything with it yet. Okay, I guess I'll just stockpile it then. It's like, oh, but you've got some skills to unlock. Well, great, but, you know, enemies are only giving me like 6 EXP apiece, so... And also, it's not a terribly combat-heavy game. It's more... I'd say it leans a bit heavier on environmental exploration and puzzles. So I guess it's somewhat similar to Zelda in that respect. Not that fights are infrequent; they're just nowhere near as frequent as they. It's not the same type of brawler that the previous God of War games were. How am I with horror? I like horror. It says says Snake. There's a game called Summer of '98 that's pretty good. I think I heard of that. That name does sound familiar. You know, I like I like pretty much all the Resident Evil games, even the ones that are lesser Resident Evil. Yeah, I like horror, survival horror. I never really into the Silent Hill games. I've played a couple of them, and at best they're like, well, that's kind of interesting, but horror is very difficult to do well. But I mean, if you're asking how am I with horror, horror, you know, I love horror movies. I like horror games. I like horror. Horror doesn't bother me. I don't find it off-putting or difficult to get through. Whether it's psychological horror or action horror, I love me some horror stuff. They released a new Fatal Frame. It's 4 or some unnumbered one. Yeah, I forget what the name is, but yeah, I saw that. I just never got around to it. Maiden of Black Water was the Fatal Frame game that I wanted to dip my toes in, but to that franchise, but Nintendo wouldn't let me. That's a bit misleading. I mean, it would let me if I was willing to pay $50 for the game, which I was not. Just kind of stunning that game never went on sale. It seems like it's like you guys do Halloween sales. Put the Ghost game on sale. No, I don't know if it was Nintendo or was it Koei Tecmo, or just like, no, we will not sell this for unless you're willing to front $50. You don't get to play this. Okay, fair enough. I don't get to play it then. Sucks to be me. So, all right, that's it for the podcast tonight. Happy April Fool's Day. I hope there's been some neat April Fool's jokes that were amusing. I haven't looked. Actually, apparently Sega made a short game that kills Sonic. Okay, that's fun. Castle Crashers. That's a side-scrolly, cartoony brawler. It's cute. So tomorrow it's the first Sunday of the month. So the Sunday stream will be going back to Trauma Team. Gabe's got to diagnose something, and then Cynthia, Susan, whatever her name is, Naomi. That's her name. Has a dead person to figure out who killed them. So, much fun stuff. I'm really looking forward to Trauma Team. God of War, it's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a perfectly fine game. I think it could be better, particularly in its mechanics, as far as like craft gear and upgrades and stuff go. I don't think that's handled particularly well. It's a tough one. I mean, it's like, you know, if you can get through the entire game without fussing with any of that stuff, then what's the point? Well, I mean, if it's fun, I mean, you play any of the Yakuza or Like a Dragon games, you can get through those games without doing any of the side content. It's like, well, why is it even there if you can get through the game without even going to sing karaoke or going to the cabaret club or anything? Because it's fun. But I don't know, the different armors and stuff for Kratos and Benjamin, whatever his name is, Atreus. Yeah, I think that's it. Boy. It's mostly just a slight color variation, so I mean, there isn't even really much of an element of dress up to have fun with. Some of his shoulder strap armor is distinct. You know, he's got a couple different looks, but most of the stuff I've seen so far is just a different color. So I've upgraded a lot of because his stuff is cheaper. I've upgraded a lot of his skill tree. I'm not seeing any difference. He may as well not be there. You can hit a button to have him fire arrows at a dude, which takes their attention off of you for a moment, which has some utility. Lets you get a free lick in. But overall, he's kind of useless. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. Some pretty clever, but I'm liking a lot of the puzzles though. So a lot of the puzzles, environmental puzzles, are fun. So I don't mean to undersell the game or downplay it. I'm having a decent time with it. I definitely don't like it as well as many others do. I feel it's probably going to end up being a Horizon Zero Dawn thing for me, where I enjoy the game well enough, but not well enough to bother with the sequel. Because at this point, I have no interest in Ragnarok. Like, I have a feeling that I'll get to the end of God of War and be like, yeah, it was fine. Do I want to play the sequel? Nah, I've had plenty Kratos and Son. I'm good. It's fine. That's how I felt at the end of Aloy's adventure. It's like, I played Horizon Zero Dawn. Do you want to play Forbidden West? No, not especially. I've had my fill of Horizon. I'm good, thanks. It's not a bad game. It's perfectly fine. I had a nice time playing it. It's just not something I felt the need to play any more of. Oh well. So, the quest for a game that really grabs me continues, and we'll do some more Trauma Team tomorrow on the Sunday stream, so I hope you are looking forward to that. In the meantime, have yourselves a good night, and hope to see you all tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.